Evening time. Yeah, and good evening. Okay, Miss Lotta Prada and all you folks. What up, Lance? A little tied up right at the moment, man. Everything's good?
I just happened to catch you, man.
I'm a little tied up right now, brother. Everything's good, though.
I just wanted to say I'm sorry. I
My
saw
man.
CNN.
Okay, man. I got to run. But I'll call you up, man, all the way in the loop. And I know all the time, man. Appreciate you, Fro. Yeah. Love coming in, folks. Love coming in from all around. Feels great. It's been a long day. Been a long day with my mouth closed. The interview happened. It was quick. CNN, it was live. Perhaps I'll get a link and I can share it on here, but not just at the moment. Long day. I'm a human. I'm tired. Emotional day. Emotional roller coaster. Yep. So I'm on, everybody. And how I'm feeling? Well, I'm feeling kind of like it's been a long day. My thoughts. So I go to sleep last night, speak with Wendy. We have a general conversation, shits and giggles, laughing, a couple jokes. And then I tried to patch her in with my dad. So that didn't work out that great. So we continued to talk a little bit more because I'm not that great with technology, as you all know. Stayed on the phone for a little longer, and then Wendy cued me that she had to go. And she was circling around to a couple of people that, a couple more people. And I didn't give it much thought. But then this morning, I really should have given it more thought, perhaps. I guess last night she had a conversation with Charlemagne, and they set things up to go on and have a conversation this morning on his platform there, or on the studio thing, and then send him a link. And so she came on there and talk, and everybody, we saw that, and it was quite an emotional time for Wendy, quite an emotional time for maybe everybody in a sense. Um, Guardianship is in place. It's a system, and I don't know the law like that, or in any degree. I'm not professing to know too much about the law. Only thing I do know is that, folks, when you hear the word law, I think the general tendency is to tighten up, right? Because law is synonymous with do the right thing. Personally, I feel that, coming on and poking the bear is not the right thing. And as the interview concluded and Wendy and my niece were getting off, uh, someone made a statement. I forgot who, but it was said, geez, well, I guess this, something about the phone, and I might not be able to make any more calls. And maybe it was Wendy, perhaps. I don't know. I don't want to say. But folks, did anybody else hear that at the end of the conversation, or am I just bugging? Did anybody else hear somebody reference the phone and the possibility of not making any more calls or not being able to make any more calls? Yeah, I did. I thought that was sad. I thought it was sad because as you punctuate all that was said that should have been held back, I feel the realization was made, "Ah, might not be able to make any more calls. And this may preclude me, or might, not make it possible for me to go and visit my family for my dad's birthday." It's kind of like sending a carriage down the hill without the mother, you know? And I think that you know, if I had an opportunity to speak with Wendy and know what her thoughts were and know what her intentions were, um, I could have sized up this interview and the individuals that were, you know, she was interviewing with, and moved her away from the ledge on that one, because I think that you gave them something. I think she gave them something here, gave them something to be upset about, something to think about, something to move around and shift their weight over. And you know, when someone has a vantage point, I don't think you want to toil around with people like that. We got a 93-year-old man down here. He's our dad. And he's really looking forward to seeing his daughter on his birthday. Not to mention, I'd love to see my sister again and again and again. But the opportunity will fade if that bear keeps on getting poked. That's my feelings, my true feelings. Um, I think that the words that were spoken on there, it is true. They were true. I can't negate any of it. Wendy is the subject of the matter, and she does have a right to have her feelings. But there's a reaction to every action, and I just wish that we could have, as a family, rallied around and thought about this, and thought about what the fallout may be. And I'm nervous because I love my sister, and I'm very, very much looking forward to seeing her again real soon. As every conversation we have ends with "I love you and I can't wait to see you." We got people coming into the family, welcomed into the family, like Captain Saber chick, and they ain't doing nothing, stirring the pot, causing lumps. But I don't expect for them to think for Wendy or on her behalf. But I think that Wendy is a mainstream person, and her fame has reached many cultures and many people of different walks, and quite intelligent people. I have the luxury of being surrounded with intelligent people right here who are fans of Wendy. But I feel as though she really hit the bottom of the barrel meeting with them today. And that Ren and Stimpy nonsense that happened on the media this morning. Subtle pot shots. $15 was funny. There's nothing funny. Nothing funny. And I knew that it was going to be more of a humor type thing because I know how individuals flow in that camp, and the thirsty folks who didn't have and now they have and can kind of posture up their own chest and feel like now this is what's going on, right? So I think that's what happened. She gave him a ticket. She gave him a ticket. I just, last week when I talked about the T-shirts, and when they talked about the T-shirts for something that was just for a cause, I knew where their allegiance was then. I knew that it wasn't going to work out. I mean, at the end of the day, it's about Wendy's freedom. That's what I heard all this morning. 30 minutes of freedom, and I'll say the name, you don't say it, I'll say it. Well, then why hop on a T-shirt to make a big stink? You know, that to me was a telltale sign. But even further, I'm moving away from the t-shirts because, hey, look, here nor there, it's not a matter of t-shirts. It's just a matter of putting the words out. So saying free Wendy is great. We could say that. And guess what? Nobody has to pay anything for it. Free Wendy. Put it out there. Free Wendy. Great. I just think that, I talked on the phone with Wendy last night. And the last thing, or one of the last things that we said when I was getting ready to get off, she said to me, I don't know if I'm going to be able to come down. She said that to me last night. I didn't mention that in the interview. The interview seemed kind of quick. Seemed like they had, everything already set up as far as where they wanted the conversation to go, and it kind of skimmed right along the wall. It didn't really go deep. Really didn't go in the center. We just kind of shimmied in and moved along. I would have liked to have opened things up, but I'm not the interviewer. As a matter of fact, I didn't see the interviewer. It was Oz. I was talking to myself and listening to basic questions after waiting around all day for such an opportunity. Thanks, CNN. Appreciate you. Oh boy. So last night when I got off the phone with Wendy, she said, or when I was getting ready to go get off the phone with Wendy, no, actually we had a little bit of dialogue about it. Because she said, I don't know if I'm gonna be able to come down here after all this. She goes into her rants, and I go into my rants about this is ridiculous and everything else like that. But she did it. She opened it up, and she had brought up the February visit. I said, oh gosh, you mean to tell me that you're feeling as though this may not happen? It's one thing if we're a little nervous and things, but I hang on to her word. I hang. So I chased her. I chased her words. And I said, why? Why? What makes you say that? And just like that, she said the 9 days I was down there. The 9 days I was down there leaves me suspect as to whether or not I'll be able to revisit Florida again for Daddy's birthday. And that's how I went to sleep last night. That's how I went to sleep. And then I woke up to this in the morning. And when I spoke with Wendy last night and I said, hey, listen, those 9 days shouldn't happen like that. And I spoke with her several times about that. Even when she was here, everything was made to be a production with family. I think that was the error at the start. You remember I came on here once before, folks, and I talked about the cultural differences and the things that were a little bit off, maybe the age and whatever have you, with the fellow who came down and did his job and was here to guide Wendy down and make sure everything was, of the cloth. So yeah, they did shift around and they were utilizing their phones at times, from my understanding, and taking some videos and looking and scrutinizing and things like that. And they were going back with that information. So if they're going back and they're messengers, it's a messenger coming down in tandem because it's with the gentleman and his wife, right? So that's four eyes on the case, right? That's four eyes on the case. Now, four eyes watching family communicate and relax, or four eyes and saying, or eyes on the case, and you come down and you visit with family. We sit back, we break bread, we go to a restaurant. That's well lit. I'm 57, I'm coming on 58. Wendy's 60. Something maybe that's not dark and gloomy and not looking like the nightlife scene. Wendy had no ambition of just coming down. She wasn't thirsting for the nightlife. She was thirsting to be with her son, and experience his joy. Sadly, with him being younger, you know, he had certain, I guess, ideas of ways to celebrate the graduation. But those things were being looked at. And trust me, notes were being taken and conversations were had. So, things came back. The stink that been all over the internet about Wendy being upset with the guy and the footage that was staged to take the footage, right? The people that were staged to be there to take the footage, right? All the hoopla about um my girl Wendy, she's down here with blah 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 blah. It's look, perception is 9/10 of the law. That's what I was always heard. I always heard that. And whatever the percentage is, perception does have a big handle on how people, you know, think, what people feel, you know, about the person. So I just think that, maybe a more conservative visit would have been more appropriate, being that we were on stage for the guardianship. And those are my thoughts. But I know that those 9 days, and when Wendy said it first yesterday evening, yeah, I know where that big error took place. And you know what? Continuous errors are taking place now with these interviews. It's like if bad enough didn't occur during the 9 days, and the unnecessary pot shots that were laid out and described, over the internet on the difficulties that Wendy had when she was down here. But to be honest, she didn't have any difficulties. It was a beautiful visit. It was great. But it was just poor choice on how to spend the time because it just seemed like it was just a party. And it wasn't. It seemed like it seemed like it was rah rah. But it wasn't. It was a family visit of which we'd love to do again for my father's birthday. So we'll see how things go with that. Folks, I have a lot of things that I'm still processing. I have a lot of things that I did want to talk to you about. A lot of things that I just wanted to, get on and talk about on an interview. But guess what? I'm not done, folks. So many more things. It's late. And, we've got to, well, I just remain in prayer and hope that everything works out. I think that, you know, there is a higher power, and I definitely stay in prayer that everything's going to work itself through. Wendy's an all-star, beautiful person. And I think given the opportunity of her just being able to share her emotion, you know, without being paraded around, I think she should be able to get her point across. Wendy's powerful. Wendy knows how to communicate. And Wendy's going through it. So I feel as though Wendy's the person who's qualified to go through whatever she feels necessary. Folks, I'm going to shut this live down. And I just wanted to come on again and just, speak with you for a moment. I have been, bottling my thoughts through the day. I'm going to go ahead and get some rest. Tomorrow I'm coming back on. And I'll be on through the weekend. And I have some more interviews set up. And before I do meet with these folks to have an interview, I want to be sure that I can cover the things that are on my mind. Because it seems like everything is for the people. Charlemagne in the show this morning, for the people. It's for the benefit. You know, all I mean, folks, you know, I have no enemies, but I just say what I feel and what I see. And what I see is I just see some bottom feeders just sitting up there, just trying to scrub some views, you know, and they're not really caring about how things are floating along in her life. Can it get any more noisy? I don't know. Let's just see if it quiets down a little bit. Let's give it a moment, everybody. Hey, Sammy Sunshine, Gaslit, how you doing, roller skater, Texas girl? All right, well, that's it for the night. You guys have a great night. I'm gone, and I'll see you tomorrow. Positive vibes, folks. We try to hold on to the mantra. It's not easy. Ben Crump, yeah, folks. I comb through this whole feed, and I share things, and I talk to family members about stuff. We'll see where things go. I don't like the position that we're in at the moment. More importantly, I don't like the position Wendy's in at the moment. But I do feel positive that there is a higher power, and she will be fine. So we just have to move along and make it to the next day, so we can make another right another day to make it right, folks. I'm tired. This is one time you caught me, and you know what? I'm an emotional being right now, Mark Jones. It's not easy. And before I got on with the interview, I fell asleep, which I never do. And I just curled up and fell asleep, you know. The whole experience today has been a sad one, you know. You want a platform to talk, especially to go ahead and support your sister and say some things. It seems like I would have gotten a little bit more time and maybe a little bit more a chance to share what was on my mind, you know. Uh, but there it was, folks. You could find the interview on CNN. Uh, if I get a copy, then great. You know, you get baited in by these folks. This makes it seem like, the interview, we're going to cover all kinds of stuff. But you know what? At the end of the day, it is what it is. And I do believe, folks, that the Jason Lee was the big one for tonight. And why? Because we got another bottom feeder who got a hold of Wendy, So there he is out there popping shots. And let's see how he makes out with the interview. Save her. Yeah, I know, Crystal. I know. Yes, Toinette. Yes, I agree. It's it's a wild time. Let me see if I can get up here in some of the feeds. I see some of you have questions and things, and I definitely want to entertain them. You see, I'm not one to race off the scene, folks. But one of leave my home, birthday, Mr. Williams. Oh yeah. Hey, to be black native, yes. Get legal help. Well, listen, you know, I'm going to leave that one alone. And thank you for your question. Thank you for your question. You know, I think that the help that you're inquiring about, I think that sort of help that would really be here to benefit would have prevented that from happening this morning. That's my stance. You know, until we get the proper people or in place, we're it. We are family, and we need to stay united because that's the only way I see us really making some waves is by remaining in a united front. And the conversation that I had with Wendy that was partial last night, you know, um, she shares a lot. We've grown a lot. She has sparked interest in me doing certain things that I just, I don't know if it's the time. And so I'm sitting still with my hands underneath me. And the only thing I'm going to use is my mouth in response to whatever goes on. I'm doing the best I can by having great conversations with Wendy and leaning on faith. That's what I'm doing. And I feel confident doing that. I've been feeling great up until this point, doing just that. Having good, deliberate conversations with Wendy, staying on the phone for hours and on end sometimes. I'm not a big talker like that, but sometimes we stay on. Um, but we need to get someplace. We need to get her out. And I don't feel as though we hit the right direction. We didn't hit the right pivot this morning. So tomorrow I'll come on, folks. I'll open up the feed. Come with your questions. Come with your responses. And tomorrow is Friday, so tomorrow I will be on. I don't know what time. It'll be in the evening, and I'll have a lot more energy. So you folks take care. God bless you all. Have a wonderful night. We'll see you then tomorrow. Good night, everybody.